Hello, members of the internet, and welcome to this video that I am trying to salvage, because you'll see here, a Bentley, that I was originally going to try beating with the BMW M5. Things kinda got messed up though, because I drove this, and I mistuned the BMW, so I spent 10,000 more credits than I should have to compete with this. So I'm not actually going to be able to use this for the sake of fairness. I'm going to have to use something that costs 10,000 credits more, just because this would not do. So, as I'm going to show you now, I'm going to just see what there is to buy. Because I need to buy something of 142,000 credits, not 132,000, which the Bentley is. Because I do want this to be somewhat fair, and I'm on the complete wrong measurement thingy to adjust with. I don't know, I'm not good at English, even though I am English. Things are strange. So we've got these cars. Now, the Bentley should be somewhere along here. We've got an Aston Martin. I mean, that's not got power, but that thing should handle. But it is still too cheap. I mean, if I wanted to lose as this, I get it. It's a really nice car, but it's not the fastest. We have this F-Type. Okay, that's something. That makes quite a decent power. We've got a Nissan GTR. I mean, again, not the most for power, but these things can compete. The reason was the Bentley has 700 horsepower. If I'm getting to this anytime, yes. 700 horsepower. There's many other options, though. That's not the only option. You know what? Maybe this is good. What we're looking at. So we're looking at a car that is £500 lighter. That's not an insignificant difference. It doesn't make the same power, though. What about handling? Okay, it should handle better. So that is definitely an option. But it's still not running it up to our limits in terms of what we can spend. For the sake of fairness. Now, yeah, that's only cheaper because of my affinity bonus. We won't be able to use that. I think there's a California T, and I mean that's probably 3.1, so that's probably pretty good for cornering. That just doesn't make the power, so it's gonna perhaps corner well as well as a Ferrari, but it just doesn't make enough power for me. We have this, which is basically a Porsche GT3, and there's a whole load of cars here. But I'm thinking, in order to compete, what have we got for handling here? You know what? I think that handles at 3.6. That handles really well, but I don't think it's worth the 50 horsepower power hit here. Mind you, it is also light, so that is a very good option in terms of what to compete with. I feel like this falls exactly where you want for money, though. It's not quite the same as the BMW. What have we got if we go slightly more expensive? We've got this. That's 144,000. How good does it handle? You know what? I think we're going to go with Diablo because there's that as well. But I think the Diablo, it might not be the most powerful in the world, but it's a good mid-engined hypercar of its time, and it falls almost exactly where we want to for performance. I know, like, yellow is a distinctive colour, but I think I like blue. And orange, I think that really just stands out on this car. So we're going to use this. I know you'll hear me when I drive the BMW go on about the Bentley. It's unavoidable. That's just how things ended up being. But I am going to drive this after you've seen me drive the BMW. And then I'll join you at the track when all has ensued. So, here we have our BMW M5. This is a 500 horsepower non-turbo V10. We have some alloy wheels, which is good because I probably won't have the money to change them. You can tell it is a cheaper car than the Bentley. It is also older, probably by about 10 years-ish. So that's the thing, although at the same time the Bentley did have quite a long production one, so there might not actually be that much difference in them. Anyway, we have 32,000 credits to upgrade this thing. The immediate first option, I think, is a turbo. See how much power. Okay, we can get almost 600. That is pretty good, actually. But it's going to cost some money. How much is a camshaft? Okay, the camshaft is 600. I honestly think, though, we could try changing the engine, but look at the kind of figures we're getting here. 603 for that. 788, I could stick a crazy V12 in it, but I think it'll be too much. So We're talking 3,000 credits there. I honestly think we can get all the performance we need by just doing this. See, 700 to twin turbo this. I feel like just sticking massive turbos on. See, like, that is 1,500 though, honestly. Now, if I were to just do the turbos, how much would it cost me? Because I think I can't really do weight reduction. I don't know what happened there, I'm sorry. I must have pressed the wrong key or something, I don't know. Right, that was dumb of me. Okay, so I'm going to have to spend the same money on parts. It was 1,700 for the turbo, it was 1,500 I think. So I should be paying above this point about, what's that? 20, just under 20,000. Okay, now we have perspective. I've got the turbos now, though. I can't really undo that. I think the first thing I should do is try and get these parts here. I'm going to need better tyres. So, I think Sport. I did use them before. Pretty good balance of value and money and all the rest of it. As I say, I probably won't have the money to change the tyres. But this has power now. I don't think the transmission is going to be an issue. As I said, it was slightly longer geared already. Okay. Now, I am immediately thinking, I've actually put upgraded brakes on, kind of without thinking. It's going to need them, from what I'm seeing here. I could go on race tyres, but I actually kind of want this road legal, if I'm entirely honest. Because the differential, honestly, given it's an M5, it's probably not an awful differential to begin with. There's that, which I think always improves handling for a reason I don't understand. But I don't think I'll need it, honestly. And we could go with an exhaust system. How much does it cost with the cage? Just to get that extra bit of handling. Because it will stiffen the car up in general. And we've got a 4-door here. It's not got the same number of doors as the Bentley. So, we've actually got the money for it, you know. It could be worse. We're looking at an A-class car here. Probably built in the weirdest way you can build an A-class car. Now, can I go with an exhaust, I wonder? How much does that push it up to? It'll sound incredible. And we do actually have more speed outright than the Bentley. You know what? Sure. Let's just have the exhaust and remove the roll cage. That should level it out. Yes, so I believe this is in budget. I kind of messed up with the turbos, I will admit. But I believe I have found a solution. We have got power here, that's for sure. My initial concern was I wasn't going to get the power of a Bentley. This, I think we've done enough. I don't know for certain whether it will or will not beat the Bentley, but we do indeed have the specs to do so. So, whether we do not want on random, I think it was on clear. Yes, that was on clear on the other car, so we're going to change that. And let's see, I do reckon there's going to be a lot more speed to this. I've had to do some compromises, as you would expect for this kind of money. I've had to leave a differential stock, which my hope is, as I say, being a fairly high-end performance car to begin with, it should be pretty decent. There we go, we've got the car now, ready to go. I just hope this thing is controllable. Because as I said, like, this is actually the same as last time I built a car in that last video. I couldn't afford to change the wheels or the aero. I kind of just had more things to spend the money on. And wow, this is a bit crazy under the power. It can just about handle it, which is surprising me. I mean, I know it's not going to be the best in the world. And I think this actually does handle better than the Bentley. It just struggles to put the power down a little. I mean, it's okay. It could be a huge amount worse than it is. You can actually hear the turbos even. This is a wild thing. We have got the power advantage though. I was not expecting that, but we have actually managed to get the power advantage just by sticking a pair of massive turbos on it. And the exhaust did contribute as well. As I said, the gearing is longer. Thankfully, there are some things really playing into this car's hands. Like you see here, we're actually running with overall, I think, a similar kind of gear ratios to the Bentley in how we just about able to use 6 of them. And this does actually corner better than stock. It was already a decent handling car stock, but you know, as much as it kind of struggles at times to put the power down, most of the time it actually doesn't. This can deal with all of its power. I'm surprised, I will admit. And I think, again, what is kind of comedic is, the car that originally kind of embarrassed this was actually having a lot of the same compromise as this does. We're talking about the same standard wheels, we have no roll cage. I did put a differential on that. I had a bit more money to work with, and the differential on that wasn't likely to be as good as the M5 standard differential, just because it was a much cheaper car, even in its day. Even though it was an older car, it was cheaper new, and it was kind of cheaper used, if that makes sense. You know what though, this car, I'm not going to say it'll go winning out A-class races online, but it certainly does have potential. Yeah, you see, you might have heard the tyres spin up there. This really isn't bad to drive. I'm pretty sure it's going to sound more chaotic than it really is. I'm able to control where it is on the track easily. I mean, and it grips quite easily too. When it spins the wheels up, on those rare occasions, it does struggle a little for grip. But there's easily enough grip to go around. And the brakes are good. I mean, I know I've got a huge amount of weight, but I have managed to upgrade 2 race brakes and upgrade the tyres, which has definitely helped the car. So I believe we're talking about 249 on the Bentley. I did brake late there, but as you see, I'm still getting a perfect valid lap. And I'm sure when I get things right, like there, I made the same mistake actually as the Bentley, just keeping it in too high a gear. But things are fine. I mean, I can see, oh, this is going to beat the Bentley. The BMW will have its revenge. I can tell now, because as I say, that was not a perfect first lap, and I'm already so close. The Bentley has sped up a lot on the later laps, and I don't perceive the same thing happening with this, but no doubt there is just so much speed here. I believe it's just a combination. This is, I think, slightly better around the corners. I'm not going to say it's significantly better, but I think it's slightly better on the corners, slightly better on the brakes, and it has probably equivalent, if not slightly better straight line speed. All of those things added together just mean we have a slightly better time at the end of it all. I mean, maybe I'll beat the Eagle Talon for for overall lap time. I mean, that thing was fast for the money, definitely. For 100k, that was actually a very fast vehicle. But this one is also, with a few tunes, a few choice upgrades, it looks like this is going to be an absolute monster of a car. You see, I'm having to slow down a bit here just to try and control it, yeah? I do still remember that, and that has kind of remained. It understeers a little, but you can kind of just boot it and get it away from the trouble. Yeah, do not want to go on the grass with rear-wheel drive. The Bentley kind of got away with it because it was all-wheel drive, but here I just feel like I could throw it off. I mean, I'm doing it anyway, even though I shouldn't be, just because I feel like it's the fastest way to do things, and I can floor it out there. See, I believe that was just a slightly quicker kind of flow onto that curb than the Bentley, even though I took basically the same racing line. You see, there's definitely places, like I'm going to have to slow down here. But it has the grip, and it has the power to make things work. I do find this is interesting though, in that we've both ended up with high cylinder count engines with a pair of turbos. It's just tended to work out. This is actually in a few ways similar to the Bentley even. It's just not entirely similar, if that makes sense. Mind you, I do love the power this is putting down. For certain circuits, I'm sure this would be about the quickest at its PI. Anyway, we have got to go. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think the PI is slightly higher than the Bentley, and I feel like I messed that braking zone up, but I could have done a huge amount worse. Keep it in third gear and then floor it. Yeah. I thought it would be fine if I went down to third. As it turns out, I should have gone down to second. The gearing on this just does not do what I expected it to. In fairness, I have increased the power by over 200 horsepower, which, for perspective, is 40% of the power this had stock. So no small amount. And naturally that would mess with things. I wouldn't even be surprised if it would, in real life, just completely destroy this transmission, because we're throwing so much extra power through there. I've got to kind of brake that. Oh, that was a nice corner there. The way I flowed out in gear. Yes, I actually got a 243. That was quicker than I expected, if I'm honest. And if I can do a very good job of that final corner and accelerating out, as I say, I think I've learned now second gear is best for that, so should be going well. Somehow that was still valid. I honestly thought with that line I would have invalidated that, but it was valid. So hey, no one dare contest that. Forza thinks it's valid, therefore it's valid, even though it may have looked a little cheaty. Forza didn't call it cheating, so therefore it isn't. Anyway, we've got to slow down. Accelerate out here. Yes, I hit the limits of the gearbox, but I could have done a lot worse than that. I feel like in this game, though, perhaps other than a few handfuls of occasions, it is probably just quicker to build a car. We've seen it that this is just so quick, and I got a nice hint of oversteer there, not to a point it was uncontrollable, but to a point it could push itself around the corner very nicely. And slow down into here. I think I can keep it in third gear. Just try and keep the revs up a little, so on the way out I'm not completely hopeless. Floor it there, and yes, as I say, I think I'll have to go to second here, because it is, I believe, a slightly tighter corner, and then I was maxing out the gearing. I think, again, I can keep it in third around this corner. Yes, Forza said it's valid, therefore it is. Although, yes, it does look to me like I am kind of doing things a bit cheesy. It could just be my perspective from the driver's seat, in fairness, as opposed to the actual reality of the situation. The other thing about this, though, is despite the extra curb weight, which I know is here and is present, it is on race suspension. I believe I've got the race control bar, roll bar things. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Therefore, it's valid, okay. All is good, all is good. I don't know if this is going to be quicker, because I really did have to just use a handbrake to try and somewhat save it. Oh, it is still faster, but just not by very much at all. I'll call that a win. It said that lap was valid, and it was the fastest. We've done 2 minutes 42. That is quick. As I say, 2 minutes 49 for the Bentley. So, I would call that a win, definitely. So, let's see how this does. I mean, will it have the BMW running? It's certainly, as I say, it's a good car for the money. Instead of what the Bentley was doing, though, we're not going with outright power to try and beat that thing. We're actually going with handling above all else. It has 530 horsepower, so it isn't hopeless in that respect. And what I'm hoping is this can really corner well. Like, I was driving a stock Toyota Celica GT4 before. The thing is, that didn't have loads of speed on the straightaways, but it really could take corners to save its life. So this is something I'm hoping is the same. Maybe a bit down on power, but something I can really push around the corners. I mean, I know maybe they are known to be a bit crazy. Yep. That was not the easiest to handle around there, but I think I did carry some good speed, in fairness, and it did just about hold on. So that's the thing. If we're looking at the Forza stats, it does reckon this thing handles really well for just a standard car. The Porsche handled better, but the Porsche had a bit less power, and it was rear engine, not mid-engine like this. I think mid-engine is kind of optimal, if I'm honest, for just overall performance, hence why so many supercars do it. This is rear-wheel drive, though. It's not all-wheel drive like the Bentley. Truth be told, for what this car is, and considering it's on standard tyres, it actually grips pretty good. Going around here. I mean, I'm not full on the power there. There's a certain way I'm noticing that I have to use it. Certain way I have to use the power, and that is not it. I think we only have 5 gears. I didn't think of that before. Not that it's going to be a problem. I can still tell, despite only having 5 gears, they're tightly enough ratioed. And I mean, we have the power of pop-up headlights, no doubt, so that is obviously going to help us. I feel like if I'm on the power, it understeers less, which sounds as absurd as it is. It should not understeer less, and that's kind of an issue in a way, because how are you supposed to get used to this when you actually have to give it power when you really don't expect to? Like there, see, I'm just holding it onto the track with about 2 wheels off the track. We're just about kind of holding it as a valid lap. And it was hard to get to that point. There as well, like, I really had to push this thing out to actually try and get this performance. I can floor it now because I just know the corner's going to carry me, but it's not always that case with a vehicle. So here we go, along the road. Have a bit of a lift here, and I've gone off track. That's okay, this isn't going to be the final or the fastest lap. I'm still learning the vehicle very much and what I can get away with. Doesn't look like I'm going to get out of fourth gear. Now, I'm going to have to check the footage back because I don't really remember how much the BMW did. I thought it was about 2 minutes 48, if I'm correct. I'm not certain of that. Might have been 46. I really need to check. And it does have me scared, just seeing that this car isn't as easy as I expected to drive, and I don't think it's even that lightweight, so, you know. The BMW just had power and actually had the gearing to go with it once I built it up. Not gonna lie, this is a very interesting car and a pretty cool car in its own way, but I kind of feel attracted to the BMW for precisely that reason. I'd rather have a dad car that is just massively overpowered. And there we go. Mind you, this, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more reliable. I believe it is a 12-cylinder, which is actually the same as the Bentley, but no turbos this time, so we do get quite a nice engine, just a very smooth engine. 253 it had for the first lap, and as I said, I'm bound to get quicker as I learn the car, as I learn what I can get away with. How much quicker, I really don't know, but I will get at least a little quicker. There we go. I'm really pushing this though, as you'll see, just going halfway off the track there. I had to do that to try and get enough traction while also maintaining speed. Seems like going to the inside like that may gain me a little speed, because it is just going to understeer like a boat at the wrong moment, which is not a good thing. I was honestly expecting better, given that this is a mid-engined hypercar of its day. I was expecting it to be a little better, and I'm still going off the track slightly there. Can't be good for overall speed. There we go. I think if I try and lift instead of just hard braking, it kind of brings the suspension back into balance. We are still talking about 90s technology here, and as good as 90s technology can be, it is from the 90s. It's naturally going to show its age at push come shove, so we're going to hopefully get somewhere. You see there, it was just understeering. I couldn't do anything but floor it and just hope it balances out, which it did in fairness, but these things are scary. I'm not sure if I'll keep improving for speed. It does feel like there's a certain technique that I need to use. We are quicker though by 4 seconds, so I might not be noticing I'm going quicker, but it really is going quicker. I'm just learning the fine intricacies of how this thing handles. And it's actually looking pretty scary for the BMW, because that car maybe appeared unbeatable when I was driving it, but just look at how this is going now, and especially if I improve the speed on the final lap. Yeah, I feel like the brakes could have been a bit better there. I'm going to keep it in second. No, I'm going to keep it in first because I'm really going to slow down here. There we go. And along with speed, 5 seconds quicker than the last lap. More than 5 seconds quicker. That is quick. Oh, this BMW and this, it's gonna, well, that BMW and this is gonna be really a throw up between which one wins. I've kind of gone a bit oversteery onto that curb. Somehow I kept the lap valid, not so sure how. I'm not gonna brake here. I'm gonna take a chance, which I probably shouldn't take, and just lift off, or I am gonna brake. I broke a touch. Oh, come on, please, please grip. Yes, that was good. You see, it's very scary through there. Very scary, but if you really do know what you're doing, you can carry a lot of speed. Mind you, if that was an actual race, there's a very good chance I would just end up ramming into someone. There's no one actually here on the track with me, so I can kind of afford to push it like that. Go around here. You might notice I'm just trying desperately to find a time at which I can put power down. Yes, that was a good line. I could just floor it out of that corner, pick up some speed. I am apparently going quicker than the second lap by a very small margin. Floor it here, yes. That was hard, but I kind of got it. It felt like I was going very slow into the corner, but I seriously think maybe I'm doing it correct, because I am I wouldn't say being excessively gentle, but yeah, so it's showing up as being quicker. So I think I just need to continue learning a car. I might even be able to go quicker than I am now, but I feel like I at least have a pretty good grasp over what this car is capable of, as I kind of messed up that corner, but I did manage to maintain a certain level of grip, which is certainly a good thing. Somehow I ended up changing into first there. Thankfully, I don't think I lost much speed. There we go. And we have the next corner just coming up here at quite some speed. There we go, floor it. As I say, it's a real trick when you think about it. We have to hopefully keep control of it. And I'm really going to throw this away if I just try too hard and end up flying off the track. That is ultimately my true concern here. So we have third. There we go. Nice speed in this gear. I am somehow still building speed, and I do not know how this is even possible. First gear here, because it's a very slow corner in the grand scheme of things. And this can actually sometimes go down in first. Accelerate here. Yes, nice grip there. That's exactly what I wanted. And we should be across the line any time now. That is actually quicker than I ever expected it to be. Let's see how it did. I'm pretty sure that's quicker than the BMW though. Okay, so here we return, and the BMW did win by about 2-3 seconds. However, I don't regard that as a lose for this car. I mean, it is technically slower, but the very fact you can just buy something like this, and without any tuning or anything, you can have a vehicle that is immediately that capable. It's not a bad thing at all. Also, looking at the PI we were working with, the BMW was about 50 PI higher than this, so you would expect it to be quicker. This car, for what it is, just a pre-built track car of sorts, it really isn't bad. So it's not even that expensive in the grand scheme of things. As we say, it's about the same, maybe a little more by like 1,000, 2,000 credits, but not by a whole lot. So, you know, both cars have put up a good showing here. Anyway, I'm going to just leave it here. I don't have anything more to add, so I'm going to say goodbye until another day.